Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk calls the Russian drone incursion a major provocation. NATO condemns Russia's reckless behavior. Germany says Russia is testing NATO. Kremlin declines to comment. Protests rock France, 200 people arrested, vehicles set on fire as new Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu takes charge, says government must be creative, policies may need to be changed. In Nepal, army extends nationwide curfew, issues prohibitory orders in response to the escalatory unrest. Kathmandu airport opens after temporary closure. And in sports, India begin Asia Cup campaign against hosts UAE in Dubai today. Poland has condemned multiple violations of its airspace during a Russian attack on Ukraine, calling it an act of aggression. Poland's military claimed that it spotted and shot down several drone-type objects that repeatedly violated Polish airspace during Russia's attack on Ukraine. The military said radars tracked more than 10 objects and those that could pose a threat were neutralized. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said that NATO command has been briefed on the situation while calling the drone incursion a major provocation aimed at the EU and NATO member.
Tonight, a large number of Russian drones violated Polish airspace. Those drones which posed a direct threat were shot down. This is the first time Russian drones have been shot down over the territory of a NATO country. Therefore, all our allies are taking the situation very seriously. We have not recorded any casualties.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said on Wednesday that Poland is facing its most serious security threat since the Second World War, following a wave of Russian drones over Polish airspace. The NATO member confirmed that the downing of 3 drones, with the 4th likely destroyed. Tusk also said that Poland had asked NATO to open consultations under Article 4 of its treaty, which states that members of the Western military alliance will consult together whenever, in the opinion of any of them, the territory, political independence or security of any of them is threatened.
The fact that these drones, which posed a security threat, were shot down changes the political situation. Therefore, Allied consultations took the form of a formal request to activate Article 4 of the NATO treaty. This situation brings us the closest we have been to open conflict since World War II. We have a full-scale war beyond our Ukrainian-Russian border. But we already have something that goes beyond the bounds of mere provocations in our own skies. And perhaps today we need to say it again, very loudly and clearly. Poland today has a political enemy who does not conceal his hostile intentions beyond its eastern border.
I może dzisiaj trzeba znowu bardzo głośno i wyraźnie powiedzieć.
Meanwhile, Kremlin on Wednesday declined to comment on Poland's statement that it had shot down Russian drones in Polish airspace, saying this was a matter for the defense ministry. Asked about the drones and Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk's remarks, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov declined to comment on the matter, saying it is the prerogative of the defense ministry. Peskov said that the Kremlin had not received any requests for contact from Poland, but dismissed European Union and NATO accusations that Russia had carried out a provocation. The Defense Ministry has so far not commented on the drone incident in Poland. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte addressed media on Russian drones violating the airspace of Poland, calling the Russian violation absolutely reckless. NATO Chief Rutte added that a complete assessment of the incident is underway.
Numerous drones from Russia violated Polish airspace. Our air defenses were activated and successfully ensured the defense of NATO territory, as they are designed to do. Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior. A full assessment of the incident is ongoing. What is clear is that the violation last night is not an isolated incident.
EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen, during her State of the Union speech to the European Parliament in Strasbourg, slammed Russia for reckless and unprecedented violation of Polish airspace. EU Chief reiterated Europe's commitment to stand in full solidarity with Poland.
Just today we have seen a reckless and unprecedented violation of Poland and Europe's airspace by more than 10 Russian Shahid drones. Europe stands in full solidarity with Poland.
The European Commission President also said that the Commission will propose sanctioning extremist Israeli ministers and a partial suspension of the European Union's association agreement with Israel.
And this is why I will propose a package of measures to carve out a way forward. First, the Commission will do all that it can do on its own. We will put our bilateral support to Israel on hold. We will stop all payments in these areas without affecting our work with Israeli civil society or Yad Vashem. Second, we will make 2 further proposals to the Council. We will propose sanctions on the extremist ministers and on violent settlers. And we will also propose a partial suspension of the association agreement on trade-related matters.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer too condemned Russia's violation of Polish airspace.
Mr. Speaker, last night Russia launched drones into Poland in an unprecedented attack. I've been in touch with the Polish Prime Minister this morning to make clear our support for Poland. We will stand firm in our support for Ukraine. With our partners and through our leadership of the coalition of willing, we will continue to ramp up the pressure on Putin until there's a just and lasting peace. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had...
In addition, the British Prime Minister also condemned the Israeli strike on Hamas leadership in Qatar.
I condemn the strikes that Israel carried out in Doha yesterday. They violate Qatar's sovereignty. They do nothing to secure the peace that the UK and so many of our allies are committed to. I spoke to the Emir of Qatar last night, soon after the attack, to convey our support and solidarity. He was crystal clear that notwithstanding the attacks, he would continue to work on a diplomatic solution to achieve a ceasefire and a 2-state outcome.
The German government on Wednesday said that Moscow was testing Ukraine's allies after Russian drones violated Polish airspace in what it called a very serious incident. The government spokesman said that the incident once again shows the threat that we face and how much Germany and other NATO countries are being tested by Russia. Defense Minister Boris Pistorius told the German parliament, meanwhile, that the drones were clearly set on this course and did not have to fly this route to reach Ukraine. Poland was gathering its NATO allies for urgent talks on Wednesday after the Russian drones flew into its airspace in an overnight attack on Ukraine. Still with Europe, protesters blocked roads, set ablaze vehicles and were met with volleys of police tear gas on Wednesday in Paris and elsewhere in France, seeking to heap pressure on President Emmanuel Macron by attempting to give his new Prime Minister a baptism of fire. The Interior Minister announced nearly 200 arrests in the first hours of the planned day of nationwide demonstrations. Although falling short of its self-declared intention to block everything, the protest movement that started online over the summer caused widespread hotspots of disruption. defying an exceptional deployment of 80,000 police who broke up barricades and swiftly made arrests. Amid the chaos, Sébastien Lecornu, the loyalist picked up by President Emmanuel Macron to be France's 5th Prime Minister in 2 years, arrived for his handover ceremony. In his first public statement, Lecornu acknowledged the challenges ahead and emphasized the need for dialogue. Shifting focus to Asia now. After days of violent anti-government protests in Nepal, the Nepal army took charge of the security in the country. Soldiers patrolled the streets of Kathmandu on Wednesday amid indefinite curfew in Nepal's capital following the deadly anti-graft protests that prompted Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to resign. The worst upheaval in decades in Nepal was sparked by a social media ban unveiled last week but rolled back after 19 people died on Monday as police fired tear gas and rubber bullets to control the crowds. No protests were reported in the capital, but about 26 people trying to create trouble in the outskirts of Kathmandu have already been taken into custody. Following hours of violent protests in Kathmandu and other parts of the country, the Nepal army also took over the security operations. The army has appealed for public cooperation, calling upon citizens to inform them once miscreants target public and personal property and damage historical, social, cultural and religious places. Further, considering reports of vandalism and arson in some places due to infiltration by anarchic persons and groups, and anticipating further possibility of such incidents, the army issued a prohibitory order till 5 p.m. local time today, while the curfew would be enforced till 6 in the morning on Thursday. The Nepal army has also requested protesters to return weapons and ammunition looted during the protests to security personnel. In related news, a large number of prisoners escaped from various jails across Nepal. In Bharatpur, prisoners set the prison on fire and fled. Although the exact number of prisoners who escaped is unclear, over 700 prisoners are likely to have fled. In Myagdi, 76 out of 88 inmates escaped from the district jail, while 36 prisoners fled from the district jail in Jumla, following which the district administration office issued a curfew order. 327 prisoners escaped from Tanahun prison amid escalating Gen Z movement when various government offices in the capital, Damauli, were being vandalized and set ablaze. In a separate incident on Tuesday night, 5 juveniles were killed and 4 others were severely injured in a clash with security personnel at the Nobasta Children's Correctional Home in Bake. However, nearly 80 juvenile detainees have managed to escape. Meanwhile, the Kathmandu airport has opened after remaining temporarily closed following the situation in Nepal. Earlier, the army took control of the Tribhuvan International Airport and flight operations were temporarily suspended. Now, passengers will be able to fly back as and when they desire to do so. Border districts of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand have been put on high alert and security across all border posts and vulnerable points has been beefed up. High alert was sounded in Uttar Pradesh's 7 districts bordering Nepal. These include Maharajganj, Siddharthnagar and Lakhimpur Kheri. Additional forces had been deployed to border police stations. Intelligence agencies have also been directed to maintain close watch. Intensified patrolling is also being undertaken on highways, village tracks and forest routes connecting the two countries. Iran and the UN nuclear watchdog, International Atomic Energy Agency, reached a deal on resuming inspections at nuclear sites, including those bombed by the US and Israel in June. The agreement was signed in Cairo by Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and International Atomic Energy Agency Chief Rafael Grossi. It was Iran's first high-level meeting with the IAEA since it suspended cooperation with the agency following the 12-day conflict with Israel in June, which saw Israeli and US strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. IAEA Chief Grossi described the agreement as an important step in the right direction.
In Cairo, an important step in the right direction was taken with the agreement on practical modalities for the implementation of safeguards in Iran, signed by me and His Excellency, the Foreign Minister of Iran, Dr. Abbas Araghchi. It was encouraging for us to see Iran's declared willingness not to leave the NPT and to continue working inside the international non-proliferation regime.
And now we take a look at other stories making news across the world. Japan-based startup Sakana AI is aiming to merge existing and new systems, large and small, to develop what it calls collective intelligence. The company is inspired by nature itself, where species collaborate to solve problems. In Malaysia, the smashed 17th century Chinese porcelain crockery salvaged from a famous shipwreck are being reimagined as sculptures representing submerged dreamscapes. The shipwreck is said to be that from a Portuguese vessel said to have sunk in the battle. Japan's Emperor Naruhito harvested new rice grown at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo as part of an annual event on Tuesday. This practice was started by Emperor Hirohito in 1927 to encourage farming. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on Wednesday approved 4-lane access-controlled Mokama-Munger section of the Buxar-Bhagalpur high-speed corridor in Bihar. The project will induce additional employment opportunities with increased economic activity in the vicinity of the proposed corridor.
बक्सर से भागलपुर जो कॉरिडोर है, उस कॉरिडोर का सेक्शन है, इसका इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा 4,447 करोड़। आज जो अप्रूव हुआ है ये मोकामा से मुंगेर तक का सेक्शन 82 किलोमीटर्स का। ओवरऑल जो टाइम बचेगा करीब 1 घंटे का ट्रैवल टाइम बचेगा इस प्रोजेक्ट के कारण।
The Federation of Automobile Dealers Association, FADA, is all set to welcome the customers after the GST reforms. Auto dealers thanked Prime Minister Modi for the much-awaited GST reforms, calling them Sanjeevani, the life-saving medicine for the auto sector. DD India's Ajay Mishra spoke to the president of FADA, CS Vigneshwara.
We have with us the president of FADA, which is the Federation of Automobile Dealers Association, Mr. CS Vigneshwara. Sir, thanks very much. How do you see these GST reforms, particularly from the dealers' perspective?
These are big bang reforms. It took a lot for the government to work along with the state governments and the GST Council to bring this. The reform is going to be massive in terms of its reach, because not only in the automotive sector, every sector we are seeing the prices go down. And if the prices go down, customers are going to go out and shop. And if the customers go out and shop, the circular economy is really going to improve. The currencies, the whole concept of a currency and how much of multiplier effect it can have is going to be seen.
But how are the dealers equipped to welcome the customers this festive season? And where do you see the prices going from here onwards, just for the festive season?
More importantly, I think these reforms are something which we've been asking from FADA for a long time. And finally it has come in, and we really intend to make use of it to make sure that for the customer we have the car or the bike or any other vehicle at a price where the customer wants. And it's a great time to be in the market for a new vehicle. Please go out there and shop. We have our showrooms open, and we have 30,000 outlets where you can go and shop in any part of India.
But Mr. Vigneshwara, small cars are going to have a price cut, but what about luxury cars where they have been put in the 40% bracket? The prices also going to come down there also?
The prices are going to come down faster in the small car segment. I mean, it's going to be a deeper cut, but throughout the board, I mean, 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, commercial vehicles, everywhere there's a price cut. I don't think there's a vertical where the price cut is not there. So it's a great time to go out there and shop. So thank you again for the Big Bang reform.
Thanks, Sajjan Mishra. So it's a time for the consumers to enjoy this festive season, and it's a great time for the automotive sector going ahead. With camera person V, Ajay Mishra, DD India, New Delhi.
The Paralympic Committee of India on Wednesday signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with India's national broadcaster Prasar Bharati for the broadcast of the upcoming World Para Athletics Championships set to be held later this month in New Delhi. The agreement was formally exchanged between Prasar Bharati CEO Gaurav Dwivedi and Vice President of the Paralympic Committee of India Satyaprakash Sangwan. The MOU aims to significantly expand the sport's visibility and help nurture para-athletic talent across the country. The 2025 World Para-Athletics Championships will be the largest international para-sporting event ever held in India. Speaking on the occasion, Prasar Bharati CEO Gaurav Dwivedi said that it is a matter of great pride that Prasar Bharati is hosting the largest international para-sporting event in India, which will not only elevate India's position on the global sporting map, but will also play a pivotal role in accelerating the Paralympic movement within the country.
This is a matter of great happiness and also great pride for all of us, for the Paralympic Committee, that it has been chosen to hold the World Games in India, and for Prasar Bharati as the national broadcaster as well as the host broadcaster. For each one of us here at Prasar Bharati, I think it's a very, very emotional moment that we will be able to bring the performances of these athletes who are differently abled and are still possessing the same sportsman spirit and the same energy and zeal that marks athletes across disciplines across the world.
Today is the historical day for PCI, and we are honored by Prasar Bharati and Doordarshan. You are broadcasting it live, and whole of India, not only India, among 105 countries will see this event, historical event, which is happening first time in India.
With Prasar Bharati and DD Sports, I am very happy with the Paralympic Committee and DD Sports coming together and signing the MOU. And they have taken an initiative of broadcasting and distribution to the upcoming event, which is going to happen in 27 to 5th of October in JLN Stadium. And this event is going to be a set example for throughout India and as well as the world, that we have a capacity to conduct and telecast and broadcast the event in all over the world.
India will begin the Asia Cup campaign against hosts United Arab Emirates in Dubai on Wednesday. India starts as firm favourites, but plenty of debates and discussions loom over the probable India 11 for the tournament. Despite doing reasonably well in recent outings, wicketkeeper Sanju Samson is expected to vacate the opener's slot for the returning Shubman Gill, named vice-captain of the squad. India have won 8 Asia Cup titles in the past. They last won the title in 2023 in the ODI format, defeating Sri Lanka in the final. So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.